But even as before we start, um, I want us to think of one word today: imagination. So I want you, all of you, to repeat after me, either in your heart or you can voice out. Imagination. Imagination. So what exactly do you think imagination is today? Who can give us an answer? What is imagination? Anyone? Right, the pretty lady at the...
I stand. I would say imagination is an image projected in the mind. Yes.
All right, an image projected in the mind. Aha. Kaka yetu Mswahili. You want to say something?
Japo nitazungumza katika Kiswahili, nafikiri imagination katika Kiswahili tunasema taswira. Kwa hivyo taswira ni picha ya kimawazo inayojengeka hasa ndani ya bongo za binadamu kutokana na mawazo aliyo ya fumba. Inaweza ikawa ni taswira kutokana na kisa, taswira kutokana na picha, au pengine tajriba yake ya maisha.
A lot of Nairobians are very rather there. So usidharau Kiswahili. You know, some of us are starving artists. You know, we are comfortable. You don't want to do any other thing, you know. So even a language you might have despised along your education can pay your bills. Anyway, taswira, so an image in the mind. Who else would have an idea of what imagination? So we are looking ahead while running, yeah? And also, I want to take note of how lucky we are today, because this is also the first Karakana Dialogues after the pandemic. We used to have a lot of session, and then Corona came, and it came with its own problems, so we kind of like took a break, but now we are back. So we are going to make sure we have as many Karakana dialogues as possible. Yeah, so we have 2 sessions. The first part I will introduce, but before the second part, I would love all of you to download an app called Ativiv. How many of you have it already? Ativiv app, because that will be used for the second session of our discussion today. Ativiv. For those who have, pardon? You want the spelling? Okay. Art, like artist, like mnavyoniona hapa. Then IV. Best way I can put it, honestly. Ativiv app. It will be very important in our second part of the discussion. So Karakana Dialogues is an event curated by Karakana Online, which you can find on Twitter, on Instagram, and on Facebook at Karakana Online. So you can check us out. It's also an extension of the exhibition you have outside, which is Nairobi 47 Reloaded, which is so that we can start our first part of the panel, of the discussion, sorry. Ativiv app. So today I'd love to mention that we are partnering with the Kenya NFT Club, Mbogi, Kinangena, Kinaroni, can see you. Thank you so much for this amazing opportunity to even partner with you guys. I see what you do online. I've been in some of your spaces. I've seen some of your projects. So I'm not too green on the area, but we are here to learn. So the first person who will introduce us to the world of NFTs is Ngena from the Kenya NFT Club. So she'll talk about what is all these NFTs and what do you need to know to understand. Thank you so much, Ngena. It's your time. A round of applause, please, as Ngena comes. You know, being on stage is very, very frightening. Yeah, I had to do some press-ups out there at the parking just to be here, so you can imagine. Thank you.
Thank you, Gikonyo. Hi, everyone. Wave to me so that I see we're connecting. Lovely. My name is Ngina. I'm a muse, a creative director, and also an NFT creator. Me and some of our friends here from Kenya NFT Club are here to talk about NFTs, and just all of us can discuss, get to learn, interact. So, sorry? Has anyone spoken? Oh. So about the Kenya NFT Club, we are a collective of innovators who we've come together to teach, provide education, enlighten all of us in the Kenyan and East African region about NFTs. Yeah, we've come together to just we do projects, we help onboard other artists, we have spaces where we talk about NFTs and anything about NFTs. So today we are just going to do a whole rundown of the whole sector. So about Kenya NFT Club, it was founded in 2020, 2021 in July. A bunch of creators came together. They saw one thing about the NFT community, it really relies on, one thing about the NFT world really relies on community. So a bunch of creators came together and saw that we needed a place for all of us to come, connect, and that's how Mbogia NFT was formed. Mbogi, as most of us must know, is a gang, you know? A gang of people, you're like-minded, you're doing the same thing. So that's how we came together, and it's open for all. Anyone interested in NFTs is welcome to join, see what people are doing. They're creators, they're developers. It's just it's a whole world, let me say. So some of our projects we've done, we've partnered with, we were sponsored with Polygon. I don't know, who's familiar with Polygon? Yeah, so Polygon sponsored an event. It was titled NFTs Ninini. It was, when was it? Last year, around maybe March. So around March, we had the event, NFTs Ninini, sponsored by Polygon. It was in Bomblast. Kila mtu anajua Bomblast? Yeah, it was in Bomblast. Around 100 people came. And then our second event, we had a Kenyan NFT Summit. It was in iHub, where we had displays of artworks. We asked for artists from East Africa to present their work, to submit their works. So it was a physical, and also it was in the metaverse. I don't know how many of us are familiar with the metaverse yet, but we'll get into that soon. So we did the Polygon event, the NFT Summit. We've had onboarding for more than 6 artists this far, and we also partnered with the African Meta Club to host a digital event. A digital event is a physical event and also a digital event that was running concurrently. That was late last year. And this year we're looking forward to hosting our second edition of the NFT Summit. So anyone with a connect to sponsors, investors, wants to invest in the crypto world, or a bunch of artists, yes, we are the ones for you. What else did I do? Our goals and objectives of the club is to provide education to crypto enthusiasts, NFTs enthusiasts, artists in Kenya, East Africa, the whole of Africa, to just onboard more people into the ecosystem and create other sources of incomes for creators and different other fields. Another one is to create community. As I said before, community is so important to the NFT space. So we need to, Kenyan NFT Club is our way of Kenyans representing themselves in the NFT world. Another one is to, another goal is to raise funds that will enable us to run community projects and also help us in onboarding other artists. Yes, that is it about the NFT Club. Any questions? Yes?
Hi again. So when on board artists, is there any type of experience that the artist requires, or literacy in a specific software?
I wouldn't say so. As an artist, you have your individual way of expressing yourself. So if you have work to show or something you can submit, when the call is released, you are able to get in. That's all. And by onboarding, it means providing funding to be able to get into the NFT platforms, because there's some, depending on the different blockchains, there's a fee required to be able to get into these blockchains and mint your NFTs. Yes, that's it about the NFT Club. Let's do a brief introduction of the NFT Club, and then we can start our sessions. Yeah, so as I've said, I hope everyone can hear me clearly. As I've said, these are our goals and objectives for the NFT club. And some
Ray Matata. All right. Sorry for the confusion. Chris Njoka as well. A round of applause again. Give them some motivation, yeah? So, George, it's your time.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. For me, it's an honor to be here. It's an honor to moderate this first panel discussion on a space that I think is going to change a lot of things. It's going to change how we do things as creatives. I'm excited that we are having the first Karakana dialogue after the pandemic. So I look forward to engaging with the panelists and also with the audience so that we can try and understand what is this monster we are calling NFTs. Yeah, so I'm very excited to be here. I think just to get us started, my artist name is Keller, the brand elder, and I'll explain what that means as we continue. But in the interest of time, I wish to get the ball rolling. So maybe I'll start from this side. Kindly introduce yourself and maybe tell us how did you get involved in this NFT world?
Good evening. My name is Chris Evans. Mic check. So, good evening once again. I go by the name of Chris Evans. I'm an artist, I'm a visual artist. I'm in the spaces of animation, photography, and film. How I got into the NFT space, I'll say thank you, COVID. Funny enough, because 2020 is when I got into that space. And funny enough, I didn't get into NFT directly. It came through I know most of you know about Bitcoin. Yeah, so I was curious to know what is Bitcoin and how it works. So one step after the other, I came to learn what is blockchain. And in the process, entered into a world of what I think we now call Web 3.0 as at now. So actually NFTs came to the rise, I think within 2021 thereabout. Yeah. So that's what I can say for now. I'll talk more.
Okay, thank you so much. Just before the next person introduces himself, do we know, is there anybody who does not know anything about blockchain? Or how much of blockchain do we know? If you are familiar with blockchain, raise your hand so that we know. Okay. Okay. So looks like we have a lot of ground to cover.
Yes.
Yeah. Ray, introduce yourself, what you do, and how did you get involved with the NFT? And maybe you can tell us, have you made any money from NFT?
Good evening. My name is Reinhard. Most people probably know me as Ray Matata. That's my artist name. How I got, sorry. Question ya pili ilikuwa ni nini?
How you got involved with the
How I
NFTs?
got into NFTs. Yeah. It's a journey of evolving and adapting with the times, and probably I got in quickly because I was following the money. So that's how I got into it. Yeah, here too.
Yeah. So I'm sure you've made some money out of NFTs.
Yes, I've made money.
You'll tell us about that as we continue. To my left, can't you introduce yourself?
Is it working? Hi everyone. My name is Edmond None, or alias Mr. Nayed, or Designs by None. So in context, those are my alter egos. I identify as an audio-visual artist, and Mr. Nayed is the audio person. So when you're referring to the audio person is Mr. Nayed, and Designs by None is now the visual person. And how I got into the NFT space was just the casual Twitter scrolling, and then you see one of your friends is selling art, and you're like, ah, this is good. But then you went to check the price. It's like, it's not in cash, it's not in dollars, it's not in anything you've seen before. And you go into the site, it's like it's something new. And then after a few hours, you find out that they have made a sale, and you are wondering, so how is this even possible? I also want to make a sale. So I went, so that friend is her memoirs, if you're familiar with her. So I went to the site, it was Foundation, the site called Foundation. It's a marketplace. I was like, let me try sign up with my Gmail account and see if it will work, because I thought it was just like signing up to the marketplace. Then I found out that you have to have a wallet to connect to the site. And from there, I got to like do my own research on regards to how do you even get into the platform, how it was, if I go into detail, it would be such a long story, but to cut it short, it's, yeah, I got into NFTs through Twitter and seeing there are people who are actually making sales, and then there's also a community that's beyond the sales. There are people who want to help you in regards to even sending you the money to start your journey into the space. And then from there, I've just been experimenting with my art. I started with the visual stuff, and then now I saw, so there's room for like experimentation and stuff. And from there, I now introduced the other sound design aspect of me, and now I'm fully like an audiovisual artist in the NFT space and like generally.
We probably need some help with one of these mics. Noni, you had already appeared before the audience. So I want to throw the first curveball at you. Of course, we are here to discuss about NFTs. From the show of hands, you saw probably about 5 people are aware. They know a little about NFTs. What does NFT actually mean? And as you answer that question, also, what has been your journey so far? What has been your experience with NFTs?
Thank you. Sorry, I forgot the first question. Oh, what are NFTs? So NFTs stands for non-fungible tokens, and when you Google about NFTs, the first term they will bring to you is fungible. So that's where personally my definition of NFT came from. So something being fungible means it can be exchanged or replaced by something of the same value. Something like 1,000 bob note. You can replace it with another 1,000 bob note or 10 100 bobs. So it means it's fungible. If something is non-fungible, it means it's special. It's that one of itself that if it's owned, it's unique. So NFT stands for non-fungible tokens. These are tokens on the blockchain. These are tokens that are managed on the blockchain. Transactions happen on the blockchain. Ownership is on the blockchain. And something about the blockchain is it is not erased and it is public. So, for example, an art piece, any artist is bought. So this art piece, you will be able to, even if you haven't collected that art piece, you'll be able to see who collected it, when it was collected, how much it was collected, and if they sell the work, you will see who they sold it to, how much they sold it to, and the artists themselves, you're able to attach a royalty that you are constantly paid when the item is resold. So that's the value of the blockchain. I hope that has done some good thing to anyone who wasn't familiar. So my journey as an NFT artist, it is quite a bit similar with None's, because I had introduction to Bitcoin and Ethereum I've always known about cryptocurrency. So in time of COVID, I got into a scam. I've done a lot of experimenting with these things. So I lost a bit of cash, and I was still on the timeline just seeing what's going on. And then I saw HVR memoirs, the same artist Nani is talking about. she's one of the, I don't know if she was the first artist from Kenya who was selling NFTs, but I saw her what she was doing, and I got in. That time there was an app called Clubhouse. You needed an invite. I got into Clubhouse, listened to what people were doing. I figured there was a whole African NFT community going on. I also was able to witness, there was a major event in New York. What was it? Was diaspora something. It was like a diaspora event that was put up in New York that featured artists from all over the world. And yeah, I was just able to see these things happening, and I was so intrigued. So at that time, I was majorly amused, as I've mentioned. So I hit up one of the photographers, told him what was up. We came together, we started a fine art collaborative project, and then last year around March, I was experimenting with different types of arts and expressing myself, and then I landed into digital art. So since then, I've just been creating art for myself, digitally expressing. I've been able to sell some pieces, and that for me as an artist, and especially as a beginning artist, was so affirming for me that people, not just in Kenya, outside Kenya, saw this beauty and they were willing enough to invest and support my craft. That has been the summary of my journey.
Yeah, that sounds like a very exciting journey. I don't know whether I'm the only one who is feeling like this NFT world is like somewhere in the deep sea somewhere. Yeah. Just to clarify, so you're saying NFT means non-fungible tokens, okay? And fungible means replaceable. So non-fungible means non-replaceable. So if the suit I'm wearing cannot be replaced, we can call it non-fungible suit. No, if it cannot be replaced. If this is the only piece in the world, then it's non-fungible. If it can be replaced, if I can get another one that looks like that one, then it's a fungible asset, okay? So I think up to there to Kosawa, sindio, that we are talking about pieces, you know, art pieces or assets. So they could be audio, they could be in form of pictures or just a minute. Yeah. So I think the first point is to understand we are talking about things that cannot be replaced. Sindio, hapo tuko sawa. Aya, Chris, what does tokens mean in that in that NFT? What exactly is a token?
So the word tokens in this space, see your stima in Alianga. Tokens in this space refers to, let me use a very simple analogy to explain. So a token in this space for NFTs refers to an asset, like a digital item. So think of something like a photo, for instance, a JPEG. Those in video, maybe it's a video clip. In music, an MP3 audio. So those are what we call tokens, okay? So when you talk about going back to non-fungible token, means it's only that particular JPEG or that particular video clip in existence, okay? So imagine you do nowadays people do TikTok a lot. So imagine the first TikTok you put out there, no one else has it. No one else can copy it, no one else has it. It only belongs to you. That's what is a token. In a physical world, where I will start to explain what a NFT will be very quickly. Imagine in the early years of Kenya, when we had those coins that were the very, very first coins. They were just like a ring. It's a coin, but it has a hole in the middle, like a donut. I think the only place you will find that coin now, maybe it's in a museum. So that is non-fungible. You can't replace it with anything else. It's the only one in existence. So think of that, but now in a digital space. That's what is a token.
So, mic check. Okay, so at least now we are on the same page that we are talking about assets in a digital format that cannot be replaced. Tumeelewana hapo? Okay, so Ray, so apart from, just to help us also expand our understanding, apart from photos, audio files, I want to assume that, are there, what sort of assets are we looking at? What sort of items make their way into, which classes of items make their way into this NFT world?
Given the people who are around here, any type of artwork can make it to the NFT space. But it's also expanding into real estate, into events where you can buy a ticket in the form of an NFT, and then you just go to the event in Askaniwa and umeingia. So it's expanding beyond art as of now. It could be as easy also as buying just a property with cryptocurrency. So NFTs, the assets are too broad to pinpoint which ones are. So it's simply limited by imagination and maybe technology kidogo and adapt watu kuikubali. Yeah, but yeah, that's the least I can say.
Sounds interesting. Kesho tunaanza kuuza apartments kwa na tokens, eh? Okay. Let me just ask you, in terms of just understanding this market, because it's digital, what sort of technology supports it, and how does it work? How do people trade? You know, how do tokens move from one person to another?
So most of these transactions happen in the blockchain, and so the blockchain is like, I can say in layman's language, it's like the internet, but now in a decentralized form. So these transactions happen and they are secured by a smart contract. A smart contract is it's just a contract that binds you, which is recorded in the blockchain, that binds you and like binds different parties in a transaction. So for instance, I have uploaded like in easy words, which is minting. I've just put my work into the a platform, and so there's that contract that secures me and the platform, and then that contract also secures the transaction that will happen when someone buys it. So it's decentralized in a way that once that contract is in place, in most cases it can't be changed. So everything is, it can be seen. If someone has sent, for instance, I've sent Ngina like 2 ETH. If Ngina sends you the wallet address, you can even go and check how many transactions she has done in the past 6 months. So it's transparent and it's clear, it's there, and no one, like literally no one, not one person can handle, like say, I'm managing all these things. It's through, for people who have been downloading, pirating movies and stuff, the peer-to-peer sharing. So it's literally the same technology, but now in the NFT space, selling art and like also making transactions. Yeah.
If I'm getting you right, you're saying this blockchain is like M-Pesa that is open. By this I mean that if I send Gikonyo money, everybody in this room can go somewhere and see that I've sent Gikonyo some money. And that transaction is secure. That I can interact with anybody around the world as long as they have access to that particular platform. So much so that everything that happens there, everybody can see, which means you cannot delete or you cannot corrupt the system. You know, so it's a very open market. If I'm getting it right, yeah. Noni, let me come back to you. If I'm trying, it sounds like it's just the traditional markets for collectible items that we've just taken it online. Is that assessment fair?
One word for it, I would say yes, because we own so many things. We own our social media handles, we own even domain names, something.com. So all of these, we own the people who love to collect trading cards. So this, we have taken it online. It's the technology. It's a whole technology that is facilitating all these things. So yes.
And maybe just to follow up on that, I read somewhere that the founder of Twitter, the very first tweet that he sent on the Twitter platform, he sold it on the NFT market for I think 2.5 or 2.9 million dollars. And I was just wondering, how do you determine the value of that, the token that you want to put on that NFT market? If a photographer has a piece, digital artist has a piece, how do they determine the value? Because sounds to me like it's more about feelings, that I'll decide my piece should go for this much, which also raises other questions. For example, if I sell to you a tweet for 2.9 million, I'm tempted to think that if nobody else is willing to pay more than that 2.9, then it means it almost sounds like a very stupid investment or decision that you made. So how do you attach value to these NFTs?
Value, that word is so popular also in the NFT space, because now even people collecting your work, they want utility. So with art, even artists, if there's an artist here, they know that work they've created, they know what it means to them, they know what they're trying to express, and they can place a certain value to it. That is so subjective, because you can say, you can wake up today and decide to put your work for 1 Ethereum, and that's okay. If you think you're going to put your work at that time and someone will be able to collect it, that is fine. People collect depending on different, what do I say? People collect for different reasons. It can be either an artist is so popular that they want to maybe resell their work or own their work. They feel connected to this piece emotionally. They remind them of something. They see this artist as someone who will be a big deal in a few years to come, and they know they'll be able to sell that work for 10 times more. There's so many reasons, really, yeah. But the value is, let me say, subjective.
You know, I come from a real estate background, and one of the things we keep talking about is that, you know, the way you can go buy land somewhere in a very remote place. So we always call it the bigger fool's theory, you know, that you buy, imagining that there'll be a bigger fool who will come and buy that land so that you make money out of it, you know. So of course, yeah, you know, the subjectivity around attaching value. You know, some people, and Noni, I want you to jump in on this. Is there a feeling around that market that sometimes people feel like this could be, you know, like a pyramid scheme, because it's relying on other people who probably, quote unquote, they are more foolish than you, will come to buy this thing that only comes with sentimental value?
I think it's subjective. Also, from my understanding of a pyramid scheme, it's when I introduce you to something, I get a commission of whatever you make, and when you introduce other people, I get commission from you, and also, so it keeps going and on and on. And I feel like with NFTs, that could be it, but in terms of royalties, which is very minimal. It's like maybe the most you can get is like 10% of every sale, which I really, really approve, because in the traditional art, if I make a piece and I sell it, that's the end. in 5 years I could be the next, like the big artist from East Africa, and then it sells for 10 million Kenyan shillings, and I could be starving over there, and the collector won't even like give me anything. So it's just your name that sells, but you won't have, like, the transaction is not secured. You could say, yeah, let's have a contract that says, which works sometimes, but then you'll be labeled as a trouble, like you're difficult to work with. You're an artist, which often happens when you know your rights in most cases. So I think the value in NFTs is, like, it's so subjective in a way that other people just say, I spent this amount of time, amount of money to create this, so this is how I'm going to price it to make a certain profit. Others say, me ni pro manze, I can't be selling in like beyond this range, and they decide that's the bar where it is. And there are people who see it and they'll be like, but if the work speaks for itself. And there are others who are like the hype. Sometimes maybe they did something and then like 100 people, or even 20 people like supported this person. So other people come in to see if they'll make profit of the hype. So there are people who come and buy just because they feel like this person is about to blow up, and when I buy, I hold, and then after some time I sell the piece again, I'll make like a really huge profit. And then there are others who just are randomly just buying for fun. They have all these Ethereum and they're scrolling, they're like, oh, this is someone from East Africa, let me see. And yeah, so there's different ways. Others commission you, they'll be like, we really like your style and we'd like you to work with us, and they have all these arrangements, contracts and everything. So it's really subjective, and there's also that aspect of freedom. And since it's a decentralized platform, it could also be the fool who decides, I'm putting my work at 5 Ethereum, which is so unrealistic, based off maybe you just started minting your work today, you don't even have a community, people don't know who you are, you could be a scammer. So it's more about also having that conversation with yourself and seeing, if I price my work in this price range, is it realistic for myself? And is it realistic also, like, in reality? Did you need that money urgently? So it just matters. Sometimes you could just decide, I'll break it down, instead of selling in like point something, maybe 0.4, those digits, you can decide 0.0 something, which is like additions. So maybe you make 3 suits which are like this, and then now you, instead of selling it for like the price of 1, you divide it in like maybe 3, and then you sell it in a more affordable way, and more people will own it, and it will be much cheaper for people who want to like buy your art. Yeah.
Ray, let's go back to the market, of this NFT. If somebody is about to buy this NFT, how do they know what they're buying is real? Because if we are saying, for example, I can make a token out of my suit, so how do they know that what that token, and does it mean that if I made a token out of my suit and I sold it, then I have to ship the suit? What happens now that these tokens are being bought by people around the world?
With NFTs and the blockchain, since it's a ledger, it keeps a record of everything from the person who minted. Minting is putting your work online as an NFT. We call it minting. So from the first person who minted, that will be the author of the NFT. So as an artist, if you put on your work, it will show this NFT was created by Chris Evans or Ray Matata. And then it was bought by None, and None sold it to Ngina. Ngina sold it for a loss to Basil. It shows all that record. So you as a buyer, when you go to buy and you know whom you are trying to look for, you'll probably go to their profile, look at their wallet, where their work are, and then you can see, this is the piece I want. Is it still available? Can I buy it, or can I buy it in secondary? Secondary is not directly from the original creator. So since there's all that record, it's easy to see who created it, and that's the only way to show provenance of where the work originally came from.
So does it move? You have to create.
So, in regards to physical pieces, like his suit, what I've seen with artists who make physical pieces, be it a painting or a sculpture, what they do is they take a picture of it, they put it online as their asset. They price it, whoever buys it, they ship it to them. That's how they do it. Yeah, that's the simplest way to explain now.
So, in the cases whereby a physical piece is involved, I've seen there's someone who made a sale, and the piece, because maybe it's a suit, and the person has had all the like the dimensions and all the measurements specifically for this person. So maybe it's a design, it's a 3D model of the suit, or it's a ready-made suit, which is like a sample. So in most cases, the first person who buys, the first collector gets to keep the physical suit, and then the secondary collectors will just have the digital piece, or it can be an agreement that you, depending on how accessible it is also for you as an artist, so that you don't strain so much, you can be making like other samples of the suit. But I feel like the most realistic one is the first person who gets the digital piece gets to keep the first physical piece.
That sounds funny, eh? You know, that if you buy this suit from me, you're the one to keep it. Everybody else can just get a model of that suit, eh? You know, sounds very, very, very funny. But maybe, Chris, you can jump in, eh? If somebody here has an art piece and they want to create an NFT out of it and sell, what is the process of creating an NFT and listing it? You know, so what's that journey look like?
Okay. For you to put up your NFT for sale, that's the question. Huh? So going just from the beginning, you have your NFT, your art piece. Let's say, for instance, it's a photo. So what will happen, first of all, you'll identify your marketplace where you're going to put up your art piece, okay? So these marketplaces, they're online, it exists on the internet, yeah? So what happens is each of these marketplaces operate in different ways. There are some marketplaces which are open to all kinds of art pieces, images, videos, etc. Then there are those marketplaces like one called Foundation, where you put what we call like one-of-one pieces or one-of-two. Like you've created a painting that it's only that is in existence. Remember, NFTs, as we said, it's only one item that exists. But within NFTs as well, you can create like 5 pieces of something, or like 10, or even 100. We call that generative NFTs. Like one called, there's a series called CryptoPunks, which is very popular. So anyway, you create your NFT, then you identify where you're going to put it. So for you to do that, you require a number of things to be there. So one of them is you need to have a wallet. Okay? Now these wallets are like where you store your currency. So this is where your currency for that sale will be transacted on. So some of them, like the most popular I know of, is called MetaMask. So you download, it's there online. You go to MetaMask, I think metamask.com, and .io, yes, metamask.io. Download that wallet, and it supports a number of currencies. But most popular right now is Ethereum. Ethereum is the one that is most popular. So once you have that, you secure that wallet. In securing that wallet means that it creates what is called a passphrase. A passphrase is like a secure password that it's only you who will be able to encrypt and decrypt it for that trade. Because one of the things about when you get into this space, security is very, very important. So once you have that passphrase, it's 12 words, you write them down, it generates encryption code, and that's now what you'll use to access. Now, this wallet is the one that now links to the marketplace, okay? So once you have your art piece ready, you log in into the marketplace, like let's say Foundation, through MetaMask. So MetaMask will authenticate your wallet, and you'll be able to now access that space. And then you'll now do what Ray said, it's called minting. Minting is like uploading that piece to that marketplace. Now, uploading to that marketplace now means that you now give descriptions of the art piece, you list it there. Is it for sale? Is it for auction? Because you can sell them in different terms. So once you've done that and you've listed, you now, also what is very important is you have to market your art piece. And Twitter is one of the spaces where you get that reach. So you put it up there, talk about it on Twitter, like on NFT Club, Kenyan NFT Club. So what drives it is really the community. If you just put it out there and you don't talk much about it, no one will know. You'd be very lucky if someone just comes across it as interested in it. So you shout, you market it through Twitter. Yeah, and that's how you put up your NFT. Yeah.
Okay, so you're saying there's a Gikomba somewhere or the Obama market somewhere online, okay? But you still need to create an M-Pesa wallet somewhere that you link your M-Pesa wallet to that market, so that any transactions, fund the tokens, the funds, in this case is you call them Ethereums, that's the currency, is able to move from one wallet to another wallet, okay? And once you've created the marketplace, you will get your space, okay? You'll get your booth within that online space where you're able to mint, which is to upload your pieces. Provide all the descriptions, then now you go and market your product. And then if somebody wants to buy, they'll go to the marketplace, buy, and then the pieces are able to move. Okay? Okay. Just before you add, so are there risks involved in this NFT market, and what risks are those? Together with the comment that you wanted to add.
Okay. What I wanted to add is that the space has moved to where you can create your own smart contract. So you put your artwork within your own smart contract, and all marketplaces have to honor your smart contract. So you don't have to sell it at Gikomba, at Iaya. All of them will have to respect how your contract has been set up. So from whichever platform your work can still be seen, and if it is priced within those platforms, still people can still get to buy from you. So it's not necessarily limited to Foundation or OpenSea or Rarible. That was the addition I was adding on to his point. In regards to the risks, security is still very important. If you lose access to your wallet, any person who has access will be able to access your artwork and will be able to access your funds. So as long as your security isn't breached, you are pretty much safe. That's the first one. And the second one is that with a couple of marketplaces, what I came to see late last year was that some marketplaces were taking away royalties away from artists. And if they do take royalties away, that means you won't be able to make money when your work is resold. And that's another risk which you need to keep in mind when interacting with these marketplaces. And this is where now your own smart contract is important, because your smart contract is what dictates what these marketplaces need to do. If they can't honor, they can't sell it on their platforms. None, any other risks?
So security risks, as Riyaz said, you really have to secure your your seed phrase. There's, when you create a wallet, there's either a 12 or 24 words. Those are like those are everything that's the key to your wallet, and that means anyone in the world who has access to those 12 words can access your wallet, and it's as easy as just typing those words into the platform if it's MetaMask, and they just change the password and they get everything they want to get from your wallet. And some of the ways people do this is through links. Someone might teach you up and they're like, hey, we really like your work. We really want to work with you. This is a Google Drive folder. Just access it. And you see where our ideas are. And if you like it, we can do something. So the first point of interest, you see, hey, I'm being noticed, man. I'm going to make it big. And then you see, it's Google Drive. It's safe. So you go into it and then you see they've given from the email. Sometimes it's an email. Sometimes it's just a DM. They've told you there's a folder in that folder, just download the folder and then there's a file. So one thing you have to be keen about malware is that people can design a malware that has the icon of it could be an icon of your favorite program. It could be like Adobe Photoshop logo. It could be Docs, Google Docs. So you think, it's a Docs document. Let me just click it. So the moment you click it, it installs in your system, your computer, and they like monitor each and every move that you make. So if you're someone who saves their passwords, pale kwa Chrome browser, you're like remind for later, you're definitely like one of the most vulnerable people, and it will be as easy as just them, because now they've taken over of your like everything you're doing. So there's that, and then there's others who like call you and maybe they say you schedule like a Zoom call or something, and you're like, these people are really like they're even doxing themselves. Doxing is they're revealing themselves, and you can actually see their faces and stuff. And sometimes they ask you, we want to send you money. Please send us your QR code. So you click your links and then you like show them the QR code. So you don't understand that it's not like that's also a vulnerability, because they can also gain access to your wallet through the QR code. So you have to really take your time. I tell people if there's a day you need to make transactions or mint, wake up in the morning, do your yoga. If you take all these like things that chill, right, like light an incense and everything, do everything at your own pace. Because the moment you're like so hyped, you want to like do everything hyped, that's when you mess up. And that's because the hackers are really about the hype. They really want to get you in that adrenaline mode, and that's how they get to like steal from you. So the other risk is now you've gotten into the space, you're like, so people can buy art and sell it at a higher price. So you're excited about projects that are coming. And sometimes like there's salesmen, no offense to salespeople, but there's salespeople everywhere, and sometimes they really preach so much about a project, and you're sold into the project and you invest in it, only for the outcome to be something totally different from what you expected, and then it doesn't give the returns. So that means you'll have lost your funds, or sometimes they even like on the day of after you have invested your money, they all vanish. Like they literally, the website is down, the accounts are deactivated, or they're like open. So it actually happens, and there are someone who are notorious for those kind of things. And there are also, I don't know, I think it's just the way the world works. Like the terrorists are always the ones who, like they're still around, we know who these people are, and they always like come up, whenever a new project comes, they always come and they're like, this one will be better, this one will be better. So you always have to like do your own research, see the history of like the project, and just see, like just do your math and see if you really want to invest in it. Because sometimes you'll be like, these are people that have shown their faces, but that's not all. I could show you like the way politicians do. They even come into your house or even in your, and they still don't fulfill whatever they're doing. So it's literally the same politics that's present here, which is also present up there. So security is really important. If you can't remember anything I've said today, make sure you keep your seed phrase safe. And it, like as much as everything's accessible online, just find a way to just write it down somewhere, put it in like somewhere that's not online. Because if it's online, it's your notes app, or like Google browser or Google Drive or Docs, people can access it. Or if not hackers, your like people around you who know about these things can access it, and that's how things might not go well.
So in Kenyanese vocabulary, unaweza pigwa mwosho mmoja if you're not careful with your security, okay? And I think the issue of cyber security cuts across all industries. It's not something that is unique to this space. It's everywhere, okay? Yeah, okay, so so far, I think do we agree that now we have a little understanding about what NFTs are? Do we have some understanding now? Do we understand kuna kasoko mahali in the space where we can sell irreplaceable things, non-fungible tokens, and tokens tumesema ni items, ndio? As long as we can create digital versions of them, we can be able to sell. Let's just try and move on. There's still a lot to cover. For me, it's getting interesting, just getting into this sea of NFTs. So, for example, if somebody wanted to sell their art pieces, maybe a photograph, a painting, you know, how does one ensure, or how can one know that this piece I bought is the only one? Again, because unaweza pigwa mwosho, So how does one ensure that this piece that I'm being told is the only one in the world? That's a fact.
I will say it is tricky, especially now that it's just in the beginning stages. People are able to screenshot some artist's work and sell on another platform, or get on Instagram, screenshot. So currently it's a bit shaky, but we're looking forward to marketplaces in integrating features that you can tell this is the only uploaded piece, and you can tell if anything of the same has been uploaded anywhere else. So we're looking forward to that. About just being sure, you need to do your own research. If you're a collector and you want to collect an artist's piece, you need to be able to at least have seen their appearance in the space, maybe even heard them talking in a space, heard them talking about what inspires them. You can DM and engage with them on how they create. There are artists who also upload their BTS or works in progress just as a sign of proof that you're the one creating this. So yes.
That's interesting. Obviously, the NFT market is still very young, so these issues will keep coming up. Maybe in the next 2-3 years, things will be much more clearer. Gikonyo here is a creative photographer who creates things that sometimes I keep asking myself, so what is Gikonyo trying to tell us here? His mind works in a very different way. So I'm just wondering, if Gikonyo wanted to sell his pieces, okay, how best can he go about that? We've been told about how you create the wallet, your market, you create your account there, and you upload. So that is done. What have you seen as the ways artists are going about marketing or selling their pieces? What works, And maybe Noni, you can jump in on this.
So there's various ways people market their pieces, and I also think it's like we are so different. Like everyone has a different way. There are people who have never uttered a word in a Twitter space. They just post their work, and by God's grace, they just sell instantly. And there are others who have spent 6 months marketing a project, and they make no sales. So one of the ways I can say is staying consistent in your online presence has to be consistent in terms of the way Ngina was saying, if I wanted to invest in you, I have to see that you're still making art and I'm following the right person. Because I know for sure, I know for a fact there are people out there who are selling our work. Like they're even printing in canvases and stuff, and we don't know. That person could be in South Africa or Nigeria or even here in Kenya. So it's a matter of you seeing what works seeing what works with your art. And I feel like for me as an artist, I got to realize that the marketing bit doesn't really work. It's more about people connecting with me first as an artist and the stories that I make. And by that I mean what my art is inspired by, like spirituality, things to do with like social issues, the vulnerability and all these things. So if someone can connect with that and they can see it in the art, and now my work is just to tell them, oh, this one I had this in mind when I was making this. So but on like the rule of thumb is just be present online. Make sure you have a Twitter account, because like all the shenanigans happen on Twitter. There's Twitter Spaces. There are times. So in Kenya we have the Kenyan NFT community. There's an African NFT community. There's the Black NFT community, and then there's like other communities. And those are like access points to different demographics. So that means if you're present and they know, Nune is from East Africa, and then Kenyan NFT community wants to do something, and I'm present, and maybe they want us to submit our work, I can submit my work, and that's like free marketing. If an African NFT community wants us to submit our work, we just submit. Like, make sure when you see those call-outs, like make sure you like take part in like those call-outs. Show up in spaces. It could be Twitter Spaces. Like for instance, ours happen Mondays and Wednesdays. So that means by the time you come, the second time you show up, like you came this week and then next week you come, we'll already know, this is Nani, he came last week. And by that, even that rapport is enough for us to even like vouch for one another. So I can say the main thing is online presence and also interacting with other people's work. When you see a work on your timeline, retweet it. Like just share it. You never know where it reaches, and that's how, when someone sees my work, they'll share it, they retweet it. The other thing is also, comment. Feel free to comment. Feel free to like express yourself under people's work, because that's how you even connect on a personal level. And we say most times, there's this phrase that kept on happening, where people are saying, we came here for the money, but we found a community. Because you find, kumbe even the hype about the money isn't that important. Like, it comes when it comes. And sometimes the collectors really want to connect with you as a person before they can sell. You can sell.
That sounds like branding is what I do. How do you create connections with the people that you want to deal with, before even the sale happens? In my world, I like to say marketing is what gets you the date. Branding is what makes her ask for a second date. So it just sounds like what you're talking about. It's about building connections. That means people want to deal with you. Okay. Ray, somebody mentioned, I think it was Chris or you, that there's an element of benefiting on a continuous basis from your pieces, like royalties. How does that work? That if he buys my piece and he wants to sell again, there's an opportunity for me to benefit from that sale, and maybe sell number 3, 4, 5, 6, which is very different from the traditional market, where if I sold the Mona Lisa piece, whatever, when he sells it to a second or a third person, the original owner doesn't get anything out of that. Is that the case?
Yeah. What happens when it comes to the structure for the sales? There's the commission, where you get a certain rate, 5-10%, depending on the setup for the market, and it's on every sale that happens after that. So if the first piece sold for 1 Ethereum, okay, if that buyer now sells it to someone else, a 5% commission will come back to you. And it goes on to the third, to the fourth, etc. So every time that sale is done, and by that means it's exchanged on the blockchain. that percentage always come back to the original creator. So that means you'll have a passive kind of income from that piece. So imagine if you put 3 or 4 on that kind of platform. So that's one way of how it will sell. Just to add, there is also, you can also put it as an auction. And as an auction, it just happens just the same way in the real world it happens. You put it at there's normally like a starting price, a minimum, but then it's sold to the highest bidder. So after a certain period of time, because the auction runs for, you can set how long that auction will run for. So when that time expires, the highest bidder will have bought that piece from you. Yeah. So those are some of the ways sales happen.
Ray, you jumped that question. So I have another question for you. We are almost coming to an end of this panel discussion, but we'll be happy to field some questions. I'm sure there's some burning questions that need answers. So, Ray, from your experience, especially now from a photography perspective, or you could stretch it to digital art. What are some of, do you know of examples of some of the pieces that have sold, say, for the largest amounts? Do you know of any? Or do you know of any successful market out there? You get my question? Kuna watu wameunda do mingi sana kwa hii kitu. Wakenya, okay, of course, those are the examples you can relate with. Do you know of anybody in this country from your community who has sold pieces that, we want to understand, is it worth it to pursue? I think that's the question I'm trying to, the journey I want to take. Is it worth it that we should pursue that line?
Yes, there's money involved. Everyone wants money, so it's worth it to pursue. Yes, I know plenty of Kenyan artists who've made money so far, myself included. Wengine watajisemea. High selling pieces, there are plenty as well, but even if I mention, I'm not sure if you'll know. So I'm wondering if I should mention, ama nisi mention, sabu siko shua kani TMI. But yes, there are collections which are like a body of work, which are highly sought by celebrities, people who have money, people who want to have a piece of the next good thing. So yes, there are plenty of things that have gone for very crazy amounts, including memes. Ata memes zimeuzwa, like last year there was I don't know if any of you have seen a meme of those funeral dancers when you want a baby coffin hapa. Yeah, that one sold for like, was it 40 Kenya shillings?
40 million Kenya shillings.
Yeah, it was actually more. 62. Yeah, it went for a lot of money. So the person who bought that, so it depends. There's a crazy market out there, and there's lots of money being spent on things that probably you wouldn't think they are as valuable. So yes, there's money, both on the creating side of things and also the collecting side of things. I'm also on the collecting side. I've made more money buying NFTs from different people and selling it for a higher price. That's how I've been making my money for the past year. So yes, there's market still.
So I can assume some of the transactions you've done are in the hundreds or millions, eh? So there's value there, isn't it? Okay. Yeah. I read somewhere today that the NBA as a franchise, those moments in NBA, okay, especially from the past, when that winning shot was scored with that, there's that dunk. So some of those moments never seen on television before have been cut out, made small clips, and they've been sold on NFT, in the NFT market. And I was reading somewhere that last year alone, the NFT market for NBA pieces was worth more than $300 million. You know, so you can see there's real value in that space. If you have anything that is non-fungible, you know, it's worth it to explore. You know, what can you get out of it? Just one more question. I think in maybe 30 seconds, everybody will answer that question. Where do you see, or what do you see as the future of the NFT market? What can we anticipate in the next 3 to 5 years? So in 30 seconds, everybody just a comment on it.
NFTs are, the way I see NFTs are a fraction of a bigger piece of a future that we see. So NFTs from 2021, because that's when they came up. So 2021, 2022, 2023, that's 3 years. I'll still say that it's still in the formative stages, but NFTs, I foresee them to be very in the space of the internet, and what I want to say is called Web 3.0. They'll come to be very important pieces in building a virtual world. Let's say, call it metaverse. Yeah. So they are very iconic things as at now. So if you get into this space, please do your research, then learn how to create, have fun. I'll say, from my perspective, go there, learn how NFTs work, create, have fun building. You never know. There are many interests in the NFT space on what people can do. I've seen people do master classes using NFTs. So there are very creative ways you can use NFTs going forward. Yeah.
We're already in the future, so Siku sure how to answer this. As Chris has mentioned, with how it has evolved now into the metaverse, there are lots of industries who are still joining and trying to integrate NFTs into their ecosystem. We have the gaming industry, we have fashion industry, we have art, which is us now. There's real estate, people who try to sell properties as well. There's events. I think a lot of things will try to leverage the blockchain technology into how they transact with each other. So yes, it's the future, and I think we're already here. The earlier you are, the better you'll be placed to both to eat more money and what else? Probably be ahead of the ones who probably come later. Yeah.
I think hapo kwa pesa ndio for you, Noni, where do you see what do you see in the future of NFTs? I know technology changes very fast, so we can't possibly say what will happen 10 years from now. We can only project the next 3 years. You know, where do you see the market going?
I can say in life there's ups and downs, and yeah, we've probably experienced one of the highest yet, and also the lowest yet. And yeah, as long as the pendulum swings, there'll always be times of like reinvention, and like times of like more like something new comes. Like right now we're dealing with AI, and there's always something new that comes each and every day. So I feel like the future of NFTs is like the earlier you get into it, when you feel the incentive, not just because you feel like I need to get into it. Like you need to have those conversations with yourself and see if it's something that you really want to partake in it. Like the same way when crypto was being introduced and people are telling others about Bitcoin and all these things, and then 10 years down the line, they're like, I should have done that, I should have done it. So it's the same thing about NFTs. I feel like right now it's more accessible and there's no harm in trying. And like for instance, if the marketplaces are more like accessible in a way that you can't spend less than 5,000 shillings. You can spend less than 5,000 shillings to put your work, and that's like a lifetime license for you to keep on putting your work. So this is OpenSea. So you can decide, let me start making art and like put them there, and just, you never know, like 10 years or even 5 years from now, those pieces could be something that really sells, like in it could be that seed that you've planted that you never knew to give back to you. So I always encourage people to experiment. Whenever something is within your reach, take the time to experiment, see if it's something that you can do. And also, most importantly, as Chris has said, have fun. Because for me, I'm really, really having fun and experimenting even for me as an artist and seeing what else. Like this year, I'm trying to see what more skills can I learn so that I can express myself and express my ideas. So yeah, the future is really bright.
Yes. Excuse me. I see. I hope I don't sound too magical or idealistic, but I see NFTs as depending on how we adopt the technology and how we're willing to move it forward. I see it being a moment of a lot of value in tokenizing things, storing them on the blockchain. There's so many things that can be stored. So I see a lot of use cases, from certificates, from being able to acquire more wealth online. I see it being able to open careers. Even currently, there are people who are purely just work on Web3 space. So I see more careers, more income sources, more opportunities to store things that are valuable to yourself and just collectively online. Yeah.
I think thank you so much for taking your time to share what you know. I think we are at that stage where we want to take some questions. These guys, they're not saying they know it all, but they're willing to share the much they know now. So I think we'll field some questions. Good. So give them a mic. And while at it, if you want to send the question to somebody specific, please mention them. I think in the interest of time, maybe just one question per person. Eh? Okay.
Hi everyone, my name is Harriet. I probably might have missed out on this one because I came late. I wanted to know, is there a fee involved before one joins the platform? And will it be a one-time thing, as in, if I pay for it, will I keep on renewing it after a year or something of that sort?
Okay. By the platform, you mean the club or the NFT market?
The NFT market.
Okay, so so
Can
do
we
answer?
just have the questions, because of time, they ask the
Okay,
questions
okay.
and we note them down. Thank you.
So who is noting them down? I can note them down. Okay, please, yeah.
Hi. My question is about, I guess, ownership and copyright, I guess, for your art pieces. So for example, if I mint something and it sells, if I do like maybe 5 editions and they all sell and they're gone, right? So what ownership do I still have for those pieces? Can I use my art piece in my own work here? Like I can make prints, or I can sell it to maybe a company that wants to use it, or how does that ownership work in that point?
Hi everyone, my name is Bex. I have many questions, but since you've said one, looking at it like real estate, people sell land or projects off plan. I'm just wondering, this NFT thing, could it be a way to raise funds for a project? So like the 5 of you, maybe you're creating a movie. We have our suit guy, audio, video script. Is there a way you can use this NFT to raise funds for your project maybe? I was just curious.
Hi, I'm Nelson. My question is about the idea of collections. Like, Is there a category to how you do your collections? If you do a collection, how does the pricing of each individual art piece split across in the collection and whatnot? Just how the quality of how the collections work.
Nami pia nina swali. Kwa mfano katika uwanja wa uandishi ninaandika vitabu, na tunapokuwa kwamba tunazungumza, kwa mfano tunaweka mkataba na yule mchapishaji, ninaweza nikaandika kazi yangu nikamuuzia kile kitabu na ikawa ananilipa hela kibunda kikubwa tu, alafu ikawa akiuza zile nakala hela ni zake, au ikawa mimi nitafanya kuandika kile kitabu na yeye atafanya kuuza kile kitabu, lakini atakuwa ananipa kile katika ungenge tunaita royalties mwisho wa mwaka. Kwa hivyo nyinyi, je, mna nafasi ya kununua kazi ya wasanii na ikawa kwamba ile kazi sasa ni yenu, hela mtakazouza ni juu yenu na mmemalizana naye, au ile nafasi ya msanii kuleta kazi yake kwenu na ikawa nyinyi mnampa uwanja tu wa soko, na pia mnapompa ule uwanja wa soko kuna asilimia fulani mnayosema, kwa mfano tukiuza kazi hii wewe utapokea pengine asilimia 50 ya mauzo nasi 50 au pengine asilimia 10. Shukran.
Thank you. My name is Carl. This guy who introduced us alisema to imagine sana. So from his story yenyu, I have imagined a question. So niko na moderator utaniruhusu ni swali moja lakini A to B. Isipokuwa na zote haita make sense. Let me give you a real life scenario. Tuseme example, huyu jamaa ameni influence na Kiswahili ambao wenye wanacheza mpira, si ndio? Example there is Dennis Oliech, si ndio? We have Joe Kadenge, our legend. We have Musa Otieno. Example, I have a photo of Musa Otieno, si ndio? Nipige Musa, unajua piga picha. One day I take a photo. Labda, not one day, maybe 20 years back I took a photo of Musa Otieno, si ndio? Alafu I'm the only one with that photo. So I turn it to an FT, si ndio? When it comes to royalties, because my questions is for the purpose of flipping, at least this money guy can understand. Your picture, when I mint it, if I get money, so where will the percentage, your royalties, the one that is recurrent, go to? It will go to the guy or to me? The other question is, it's good we have someone in real estate who's a marketer. Because soko ni kipaji. Unaweza kuwa unajua kuchora but hujui kuuza. So if I go out there, find a good artist, I commission my work, anichoree picha hata kama ni yangu. If I sell it, am I entitled to give the percentage, you say 10 to 5, to the artist or to me? Thank you.
Okay.
Maswali, we still have more questions, eh?
Can we try reduce maybe?
Ama we answer these ones first?
We can answer these ones first,
Okay.
It's fine.
Okay. Before I throw some questions at you, I want to talk about the last one, and I could be wrong, mtanikosoa. Naturally, when it comes to commissioned work, just like if a client hires you as a photographer, uende upige picha, as long as they are paying, they own the royalty to those photos. Okay? So, nimeitwa nenda nipige harusi picha. As long as the client pays me, that work ceases to be mine. It's commissioned work. The royalties, the copyright moves to the client. However, if in the event, for example, I attend a Harambee Stars match, na niko na camera and I take some photos, okay? Naturally, the copyright law is that whoever clicks the photo, that's the owner of that photo. Tunaelewana? And there was a big case, I think it's somewhere in Congo, where a photographer had put the camera there waiting for the monkeys to play. Then one monkey came and clicked the photo and took a photo, and took an amazing photo. So of course, all the animal rights people around the world ganged up and said, no, that photo does not belong to the photographer, it belongs to the monkey. But of course, then there was the other dilemma. Are animals supposed to have rights to own things? Okay, so it was a whole discussion, but naturally, when as a photographer you click, if nobody's paying you, you own the copyright. Of course, if it's an event, usually if you read the terms and conditions of most serious events, they will say any work, any photos or videos taken in this event belong to us. Ukiangalia kwa receipt, the ticket, it will have those conditions. So if you're going to take photos at an event, please look at what does the ticket say? What are the terms and conditions? Okay? So I was just trying to address the issue of the
imagination inaendelea.
Yes.
So to this guy of events.
No, let me just finish. I've not finished.
Okay,
yes.
okay.
So of course, the other thing is that there is the issue of the image right. That you took a photo for Liech, and now you're going to commercialize it. Okay? Like what I was reading with the NBA, and you can clarify that when NBA is selling these art pieces of Michael Jordan doing the three-pointer or doing the dunk, okay? They're actually giving the sports people a certain percentage of all the transactions, okay? So I want to imagine the world of NFT. If he has a photo of Oliech and he sells, ideally a small percentage should end up with Oliech. You can confirm that. So I think maybe you can elaborate on that issue. So I think I've tried to answer the two. If it's not clear, you can clarify.
Excuse me, Kidogo,
Yes,
I can go to C because they just come as you continue. He talked about events, that tickets will be sold as NFTs.
Yes.
Like I've told you, I came here for the purpose to know if this thing can be flipped. Mimi mfanya biashara. You understand? So if I buy a ticket, they buy tickets. Sindio, tuseme ni ya Nyashinsky. Sindio, the first Shin City. So ticket yangu iko na code yangu because like I said, there is a market here. I might hype it in a way that kama leo ukikutana na ile tu shilingi 5 ya Kenya ya kitambo na Bill Gates ashaishika hivi and there is proof that thing is not 5 shillings. You understand? So if mimi niko na kipaji ya kuhype things, hiyo ticket, what will happen if I sell the ticket? Will it be still will the price go higher for the tickets or for my ticket alone? Okay. Thank you.
Chris, you want to take on that?
Let me see if I've gotten your question right by how I answer. Maybe let's have a discussion about this. So when it comes to event tickets, for instance, on that platform, whichever it is where those events are being put up, there's the value of that ticket. Why like you'll have to ask yourself why that ticket is being sold on that platform and not on any other. Like it's not on blockchain, it's just on another forum. Like let's say you put it up on, for practicality's sake, let's say Ticket Sasa or whichever. So you have to ask yourself that question first of all. What benefit is it for you to put it on that platform and not, for instance, Ticket Sasa? So I'll give an example. Okay, this may not exactly be like a ticket, but what I've seen, for instance, is there is someone online, I don't remember his name, but what he did is that he was holding a very unique masterclass on a particular skill set, okay? So he's a very high sought after professional, and he wanted the highest value for whoever will come to that masterclass. So he put it on auction, yeah, on, I think it was OpenSea or one of those platforms. And that was only, I think he only put like 2 tickets. I think it was 1 or 2 tickets. So for him, the value of putting that ticket on that platform was to get the highest value of that, because to him, he felt that that will be his greatest purpose in that. So you have to ask yourself that question, why you want to put it first of all there and not this space. Sijui kama kujibu.
Because you said, if I buy a ticket, I'm not interested in selling tickets. If I buy, because why should I go buy an NFT ticket? Si ningeenda tu nilipia hapo niingie, because I believe it will be, itakuwa expensive that, sindio? Yeah, thank you.
In this sense, okay, you are a flipper. You are just making money. And how the market works, it's willing buyer, willing seller. If the demand is high, you're ready. You own it. You can sell it at a high price. If you buy 2K, you can sell it at 5K. That's profit to you, and I think that's very much okay. Standing kama whoever is the event owner at Ajali will use their how much. Yes, they'll have to verify who owns the ticket at that point, and that's where now the blockchain will be. They'll just scan your QR code, waone, okay, huyu ndo anaown, so yeye ndo anaweza ingia. Kama ulikuwa umeuza, haitaonyesha jina, itaonyesha mwenye anaown at that time.
I think that's clear. There was a question on, I don't know who will take it, you can volunteer. To join the NFT market or spaces, is there signing on fees? What sort of range is it? And is it a monthly thing or is it a lifetime thing?
So there are different marketplaces depending on the blockchain. Okay, there are also different blockchains. Kuna Bitcoin, Ethereum, Tezos. So each blockchain has their own marketplace. The most popular, or let me say most used, at least from last year, was OpenSea. It only charged you the first time fees. Other platforms, they might charge according to, as you mint, unalipia each transaction as you mint. So for OpenSea though, they only have one-time fee. It's around what? Psycho. Right now, yeah. Right now could be at least $50. When I was joining, the people who joined with like $600, it was quite expensive way back. So it goes going up and down. So does that answer?
There was a question on copyright, I believe. When you create, your question was when you create these pieces, how much of copyright do you retain when you mint it? Yeah. Do you still retain any copyright to those? Can you still use those things, those creations? I don't know who wants to answer that.
So, yeah, I remember we had this conversation when we were starting off, like the early stages were like, oh, maybe since I've already made prints or like T-shirts or canvas prints of this art piece, can I still sell it as an NFT? And the answer is, even contrary to what you said, I believe the copyright always is like, you as the creator always has some bit of ownership, no matter where the word goes, unless it's stated like in a contract somewhere that you're giving away your ownership. So when you make your pieces, you just have to, there's also this thing called scarcity. So when you make your pieces, you and also like tidying up, are not overpopulating the space with your work. So you might say, I'm only creating these editions that will be for print in this physical world, and then there'll be others which will be specifically as NFTs. Because also, yeah, people want to feel good. I want to like own something that I've owned it, and not something that I walk around and someone has a hoodie that has the work, someone else has like a sticker, like it's so, yeah, so just the exclusivity part of it really, really matters and even makes people trust in you, and you don't seem as a greedy artist who wants to like flip everything.
There was another question on, can NFT market be used to fundraise for projects?
Yes, it's possible to fundraise through, not necessarily through NFTs, but you can, there's a platform I know which you can more or less describe what you want to do, and then people who are willing to fund you can send you money for you to get your things done. So yeah, it's possible. Yes, if there's a project you want to work on and you probably can't fund it by yourself, you need people to, let's say you want to make a film and you need to raise funds to pay Kanjo, to pay your actors, to hire gear. You can fundraise that. If your target is $1 million, put it there, it's $1 million. And people who want to contribute towards your project can do so, and everything is on chain and people can see how much someone contributed to you. And you as the person who is the owner of the fundraiser, you need also to be very accountable so that people can see that you actually did what you are asking for. So yes, it's possible.
We are really short of time. Just 2 more questions that had been asked. I think I'll deal with those ones. I think the team will still be around. You can have engagements with them. There was the issue of Kakabati akiuliza, can books, number one, can books be sold on the NFT market? And if that's the case, are there arrangements where they can buy off the book one-off and pay you one-off, or you can agree on a revenue share or royalties? I don't know.
Yes, when it comes to books or literature, I've said that very slowly. Literature. Yeah, when it comes to books and literature, this is how you perfect your. You repeat, yeah, literature. That time I've got it correct. Yeah, so yes, you can sell books on NFTs and get commissions, percentages on that. And when you go through your publisher, of course, all these things are also led by contracts. The agreement that you have between you and your publisher, yeah. So your publisher gets a certain percentage, you get another percentage. If you decide to put it now on NFT, once it's there, when you put it there, you give the terms of how you are going to earn from it. So within that commission that comes, it will now be between now you and your publisher. Now this is like an offline kind of thing, because on the platform, it says you say like we want 5 or 10%. So that will be there every time you sell. Now with your publisher, you'll now have to agree now, because now this is now outside that platform on how you're going to share those commissions. There might be an improvement. I think maybe other guys can chip in, but how I know is when you put it on sale, that percentage is there for commission for every sale afterwards. Yeah.
I think allow me to bring this to a close for now. The gentleman and lady are going to be still around, hanging around kidogo kidogo. I'm sure there's somebody who has a burning question, but we are really short on time. For me, it's been an honor to host this panel. Thank you very much, Karakana Online, for creating this space. I feel I've learned a lot in this space. And again, I'll be around if you want to have one-on-one conversations. My name is George Adulu, Kela, the brand elder. Branding, because basically what I do is that I help
as you move forward. Another interesting point about augmented reality is virtual objects are placed digital in the real world, right? Example, how I said with the IKEA, with these guys, where you add the actual products to the real world to just complement, the real world. While with VR, it's a really artificial environment. That's what I spoke about earlier, about metaverses and all the different metaverses. Another stark difference is, another good example of an augmented reality is the, Snapchat filters and lenses. And an example of a VR, or how even you can use VR, you can only use VR if you have, the Oculus, or how they call it. Yeah, I think it's a VR headset, really. So, yeah, and so there's another point that I added. VR entails the application of a VR headset and a metaverse environment. And some of the examples of the metaverses, they include On Cyber, Decentraland, Sandbox, and CryptoVoxels. And also, I think I'll just add some different points as to how you can leverage different metaverses to your advantage, being an artist. I think being an artist, you can use different, so I think I'll just head to there, but as an artist, you can use all the different types of metaverses as your gallery, right? Instead of literally doing a physical gallery where, let's say someone abroad cannot necessarily have come through, you can just do, have your gallery on a metaverse where you can just someone a link and they can get to see all your pieces. And that now ties back to the whole NFT experiences, where if you have your pieces and they're on the blockchain, someone can literally just buy off the piece, send you the cash, and the piece or the artwork goes right to their wallet. Anyways, before I digress too much, I will move to the next point. So, my next slide entails some of the tools that you can create various AR experiences with. One of the tools is Tilt Brush, but it's more of a 3D stroke VR thing where you literally have to wear where you have to wear Oculuses and you go painting while you view what you're painting via your Oculus. So that's Tilt Brush. This is for VR to be precise. There's also blocks. I'll put images so you guys can just follow up if you need to check out the platforms. Blocks also helps in creating 3D objects in a virtual reality. No matter your modeling experiences, using 6 simple tools, you can bring your application to life. I just put them here so you guys can, do your own research much later. The tool of the day is Artivive, which helps artists to bridge and embed their videos and motion graphics to still artworks to make their videos, or even the artworks, a bit more interesting and more interactive. The last point is Adobe Aero. I have a video, but basically Adobe Aero makes you anchor any 3D object to the real world, so you can literally flip, rotate the object and just see the object from all angles. And as I move forward, I hope you guys have downloaded your the Artivive app, so you guys can just check out the artworks. So as we move on swiftly, there's the pros and cons. Everything has its good side and the bad side. So one of the pros of AR, it reduces the time and cost to make design representations. As I said, a good example is maybe, if you're trying to study an aeroplane, right? AR will make it so easy for you to study an aeroplane than literally having to go, study the aeroplane because, you can't disassemble it. Another good example is, another pro of AR is due to its use in the medical industry, it has been able to save, many different lives, because you're able now to do better diagnosis with good time. So it has been, a good tool to save lives. So due to its use in the medical industry, the lives of patients have become safer. It helps in efficient diagnosis of diseases and in early detection of them. Another good pro of AR is also its versatility, right? I believe you're mostly artists over here, so you're also able to leverage, AR into making our pieces a bit more interactive. And it's also versatile, as I said, it's used in the medical industry. It's basically used in so many different industries. It just depends on how you're able to leverage the tool to your advantage. Another pro of it is it can save money by testing clinical situations in order to confirm the success without actually implementing it in real time. once it's proven, it can be implemented in the real world. So yeah, by that means it saves time by literally you having to, do the diagnosis and the troubleshooting via AR without you necessarily having to go on, on site. So yeah, I think that's also a good pro and worth talking about. As we move on, yeah, another good pro of AR is it enhances experiences in different fields, case in point for artists. And that's why we're here. Another good pro of AR is it can be used in military without putting people's lives in danger by, battlefield simulation. And not only that, I feel like that was too specific, but for the most part, as I said, it's versatility, right? You don't necessarily have to, you can even use it for simulations. And over here, I was a bit too precise on battlefield simulation, but you can even use it, let's say you're trying to learn more about, how to fly an aeroplane. There's always like different flight simulations where you can try. I also saw at Bobax, along Kitisuru, they have this indoor golf thing, where you can literally play golf, in a room that has also window, just a good experiential thing. So yeah, I think that's also like another good experience, or rather, yeah, actually an application of AR, so yeah. Yeah, another pro is it can be applied to part of training programs, and it makes things memorable and eye-catching. And I feel like, yeah, it just makes you, it's much more interactive. So as I move forward, there's also a bit of drawbacks with the AR, right? First off, it needs a good processing power, or a good CPU for that matter, for you to run these things and for them to load in real time, so you have to have invested in a good, at least, processing power or machine. So yeah, it needs a good processing device that might be costly. It is expensive to develop AR technology and also to maintain it. Moreover, production of AR-based device is costly. A good example is, yeah, it basically it'll cost you. It'll cost you to, experiences, and also just to build in this particular sphere. Another drawback with AR is the lack of privacy, in the sense of your data might be compromised, because I still feel, I don't know if it's still early enough, but I still feel like, there needs to be better privacy mechanisms that should be embedded into AR. Another drawback that I think is worth mentioning is, for the most part, people, when they get into these spaces, they tend to move away from human and social interactions, right? So sometimes people miss out on important real-life moments. So it takes away from social interaction. It takes away from the social interaction aspect of humanity. And last but not least, it requires basic technological skills to, effectively use AR and, use AR compliant devices, which sometimes it becomes, a challenge for people who are not very well educated, with these particular devices. So yeah, it's not exactly for everyone unless you're really tech savvy, in that sense. And yeah, as I say, I have a conclusion. When it is applied well, I believe it can really make really different experiences much more, interactive and immersive. Case extent as to how we're gonna, have a session, with these particular pieces. Yeah, so when applied well and with certain restrictions, AR is a disruptive tool to visualize concepts that will have been previously hard to conceptualize. It's time efficient and ensures immersive and interactive experiences for different key industry players in enhancing different experiences all across the board. And yeah, so yeah, I think that really concludes. I want to get this session a bit more immersive. So the last slides are pretty much, just important tools that I use in AR and VR, which I think we may share with you guys much later. Because yeah, these are basically just different terms, and they define different key things. And yeah, I have a small slide about myself that I'm not gonna share right now. Yeah, and you can definitely follow us if you want to learn more about AR and VR. And yeah, that concludes, this theory part. And now we can get a bit more practical. I don't know, by show of hands, how many people have Artivive downloaded already? Great, nice. So yeah, I can see there's different pieces. So yeah, as I said earlier, I have Actually, so before we head to the nitty-gritties, I'll just show you guys some brief videos as to how I've been able to use AR before. As you guys can see, this was an NFT that I made with the guys from AfriChibi, from the Nairobi Design Week, and I was able to use Adobe Aero. It's the app that I showed you guys earlier, where I was able to anchor a 3D asset onto real life. So just give me a second. Let me just play it again. Yeah, I was able to anchor, you know, a real a 3D asset onto real life, and you know, just be able to literally view it. So you know, it's pretty a bit more immersive, where you can literally view the the asset, and you can flip it however much you want. So you know, it just makes it a bit more immersive. Another good case is, this is more of the Artivive experience, where I was able, this is that particular piece that you guys are seeing over there. Let me just play it. Realize that it's so short. So yeah, if you point your camera via the Artivive app, that piece may be able to come to life, and you can be able to, you know, view this piece and make, you know, see it a bit more immersive. Another good case scenario. Oh, so this I know also some few people might want to learn more about, you know, how to basically make their artworks a bit more immersive. And I did a short video for you guys to see how I created one of my pieces. So from here, I joined to the bridge.artivive app. Basically, it bridges a picture and a video together. And so far, these are the two artworks that have been bridged via Artivive. So yeah, let me just forward it a bit so you guys can see. Right, so here, this is where the magic works. So over here, you're supposed to upload the image that you want, and this side, you just drop the video that you want, and Artivive will just merge them both. So once you, once you just point your phone, you know, it comes to life. I'm literally showing you guys my experience as to how I was able to make this piece, an AR piece for that matter. So yeah, on this side, let me just forward it a bit. Yeah, so on this side, I drop the image, and this is the video that is supposed to play. Then once I do so, you know, you just click save. Yeah, and you know, that's as easy as it gets. Yeah, over here. Then I just click save. Then you know, it loads for a bit. And yeah, the artwork, yes, and now, you know, it's here on my page of the AR immersive artworks. And even you can see, it also shows you like the recognition. Sorry guys. I was screen recording my phone. My comp. Anyways, yeah, so it can also show like the different stars in regards to how, you know, the application is able to recognize your image and link it to the video. So yeah, that's about how you can get your pieces a bit much more, you know, AR immersive. As to how I said how artists can be able to use different metaverses to their advantage, this is one use case where Kenyan NFT Club were able to have, you know, a virtual gallery at a different metaverse. This is Crypto Voxels, as you guys can see here. You know, so we showcase different artworks from different people, and literally anyone can be able to view it, right, when they have the link. And also now, as you guys can realize, these are NFTs. So if you want to buy any piece, you just click on it, and it will take you to the marketplaces. You know, which I think is also another amazing tool for artists. Let's say if you have your NFTs in one place, you can just send the link to any potential buyer who can just click, and once they click, I think there's this pointer. Once you click it, you know, you're able to redirect you to the marketplace, and you can be able to make a sale if they're trying to buy one of the pieces. This is just a picture. Yeah, but as you guys can see, you know, you're able to, you know, show different profiles. That's if someone has been able to log in. There's really different, you know, different NFTs from different people. Yeah, that's about it. Let me just show you guys more. I don't know where I went to, sorry. No, this is not even mine. Just give me a second. Right here, this is a picture. This is another metaverse. It's called Decentraland, where, as you guys could see, the previous picture, there wasn't too much of the profile of the people. You need to just an asset. But over here, you can do more customizations. You know, as you guys can see, this guy is fully dripped on. yeah, there's different artists, different artworks rather, where you can literally embed, you can be able to use the metaverse as your gallery, if you're an artist. Moving forward, yeah, another case scenario is Africa Group, where they bought different, different artworks from different people. So you can see these are different NFTs. Yeah, and this is a good use case of the metaverses, right? Where, let's say if you're a collector, you can have your pieces in one place where you can show different people. And as you guys can see, this, I just passed it, but this is one of my pieces which was collected, so it belongs to their gallery. And and yeah, I think this is just all the pieces that they've collected. And as you guys can see over here, once if you're closer, you can see all the details. And that's a good thing about the blockchain. Everything is just out in the open for everyone to see. Anyways, I don't want to digress too much. So yeah, that ends my presentation. And since I'm here, I'll just show you guys via my phone before I take you guys through this. So this, as you guys saw, this was the picture that I embedded with the video earlier. So I'll use the Artivive app. I just opened it. I think I'll need some data. Yeah, I hope I have data. Anyways, yeah, so great. So right, so you guys can see there's a video that's playing. Yeah, so this is one of the use cases. If you're an artist, you can just see how you can able to use this application for your advantage, to make your pieces a bit more immersive. And I think this is a really important tool. Let's say if you're trying to sell your pieces, because I remember even like the last panel session, guys were speaking on what utility is your piece giving. And I feel like if you're able to make your piece a bit much more immersive, it gives you a better leverage for any of your collectors, or even gives your collector something to speak about. So yeah, without much further ado, I'd really love for you guys to try out these different pieces. All the pieces have different videos embedded to them, so you can just point your Artivive app to either any of the pieces and they will come to life. A good example is this. Yeah, but I actually want you guys to try them out because I've tried them out so many times. So yeah. And that concludes my session. If you have any further questions, please do not shy from reaching out to me. And yeah, please guys, enjoy. Just try out the different artworks and see, how they work. So thank you guys again.
Where's the other mic? As you try out, any questions that you have? Comments? Any questions or comments? Coffee today. Any questions or comments? I think this first session of Karakana was very important for all of us to realize the endless, limitless opportunities that technology has for us as artists, as creatives, as creators. Technology has opened limitless opportunities for us. And I think NFT and blockchain, I was having a discussion earlier with my friend George, and we were saying blockchain is an endless well of opportunities that you cannot drain. And I think we have barely scratched the surface. I think we have barely scratched the surface in terms of that. Okay, I hope everybody has gotten a chance to check out. I can see George is still. George, kwani yako ni kabambe? I remember the first time I interacted with the augmented reality. It was very fascinating. And I think as Karakana, in our next exhibition, Gateru, we need to have it active, I guess. Sindio Motahi? Yeah, we have some of our exhibitors. For those of you who are fresh here, we have Gateru there. I got shots. We have Mutahi. We have who else? We have James himself and Ronnie. Have I met Lucas? Lucas? Who's Lucas left? Okay, I think Lucas left. Sawa sawa. Okay. Any comments? Questions? You want to share the comments with the people, or it's just the two of you? Okay. Any questions, comments? Any comment? Okay. George, as we are finishing, we're wrapping up, guys.
I think my comment is that for you to appreciate the NFT market and the whole world of NFT market, I urge you to start by understanding blockchain. Most of us struggle to understand Bitcoin and all those things, cryptos, and it's because we are introduced to a very tiny piece of that world of blockchain. Because once you understand blockchain, everything else is easier to understand. So before you even start understanding the NFT market, take some time to understand the blockchain technology, because it's the driver of very many things that are going to be happening. Steve, that's the comment I wanted to make. Yeah.
Please come. Is there another mic, or you just use this one? Okay.
So I'd like to really encourage people to sit with the information we've given, take your time to analyze it, and don't get into the space thinking that this will be your biggest break in life. This is just it's like life, literally, like the way people go to school thinking they'll finish, they'll get good jobs and stuff. So just take your time to analyze each and every move you make, and also don't limit your mindset just to NFTs, because there's so many opportunities in Web3. People who have studied architecture, they're literally building virtual worlds in the metaverse. Social media managers, they're also managing pages for people who are in Web3. So there's so much opportunity, and don't limit yourself just through seeing NFTs are the only things that you can do. So take your time to analyze even what you're doing right now in this physical world. How can you, if you want to get into Web3, how can you use your knowledge and skills to get into the Web3 space? And that will ease the frustration, because some of us, the most recent work I've sold has been out for an year. So that means if I was depending on that piece to pay my rent, I would have been a year late to pay the rent. So so just see what skills you possess right now and see how you can put that into the Web3. And through that is communication. Communicate, speak for yourself, network. The same thing that you're doing in this physical world is the same thing that you're going to do in the metaverse. So be open to communicate, form those communities, interact with people, market yourself, tell people this is what I do, this is what I'm planning to do. And through those interactions, that's how people get jobs. And that's how people even get to share knowledge. And so my point is, there's so much in Web3 aside from just NFTs.
Okay, asante sana, asante. Give him a hand. And for one more time, let's clap for Ronnie and that very insightful, quick session. And so I just want to appreciate James for emceeing us this evening. Asante sana. And George for moderating the session, the panel. Please give him a clap. The panel, Ngena, Ray, Edmund, and who was the fourth person? Chris, yes. Thank you very much for responding to the call. I believe that in this creative space, the more we share, the more we'll help each other grow. They say there is enough space for all of us. Doesn't mean if you share the knowledge and information you have, ati yako itapungua. I mean, all of us are able to grow, and I think that's one thing that Karakana, we are ready to continue doing this year. If you have any ideas of a next dialogue that we need to do, if you belong to an organized group that wants to collaborate with Karakana, if you belong to an association that you would think we can partner, or an educational institution, or even as an individual who is highly skilled in what you do and you feel you want to share your knowledge, feel free. I also want to appreciate the team from Kenya Cultural Center. We have Charles at the back there, and Simiu. Charles was on the sound, and Simiu is one of the key people who helps us to feel comfortable here. Let's appreciate them. Wako hapo nyuma. I think I also want to appreciate you guys who came here to be in the audience. We had a few people following us on YouTube. I want to appreciate all of you who came here on time and you have sat through this session wanting to learn, to interact. Please don't go. Tuko na chai, tuko na soda. We can take some pictures, network, exchange numbers. You don't know who is in this audience. Tumeambiwa one of the biggest challenges as creatives we have, hatuongeangi. You do your things, your pictures are in your hard disk, your paintings are in your wardrobe. Now we want to go out and be aggressive. Sindio tutengeneze do, sindio? Yeah, one of the things I say without hesitation is creatives need to make money, and they need to make a lot of money. Ndivyo wanasemanga pesa mingi, just like other people. We want to make money so that we can be happy. So I also want to appreciate the team from our office, the camera crew, Kinadeno here. We have Newton, we have Bernard, we have Faith on social media. Every time you see the post, just know it's Faith. Behind we have Mavo on the main camera there, and we have Zipporah on the live stream. Amejificha hapo nyuma. Have I left somebody else? No, that's the whole team. Please appreciate them for that. Once again, thank you very much. God bless you. Keep in touch with Karakana. If you have any idea, feel free to come to us. Hang around for soda, some snacks, and tea as well, and interact. And also take some pictures. Thank you very much. I actually forgot to mention the one who was helping us. Why is Eunice? Is Rogoro? She's on the other, at the back. Okay, sawa. There is also Rogoro. She's the one who was helping us with the refreshments and also some of the tasks. Soda iko hapo? Hapa. Okay, sawa. Guys, you can grab a tumbler of soda. Feel free. Asante.